CM Punk called Roman Reigns a fraud. He called him a paper champion. He stood in the middle of that WWE ring, with that smug smile plastered across his face, and he looked dead into the camera and said, and I quote, "Your uncle is a coward who needed a whole bloodline just to feel like a man." And The Rock? The Rock sat in the back. And he said nothing. Until now. Because what happened next, what The Rock did when he finally snapped, has the entire wrestling world divided. Half the locker room thinks Punk had it coming. The other half thinks The Rock just crossed a line he can never walk back from. And by the end of this video, you are going to tell me which side you're on. Drop it in the comments right now before you even finish watching, because this one is going to get ugly. Segment 1, setting the stage. Punk's mouth writes a check his body couldn't cash. Let's rewind. Because to truly understand what The Rock did and why he did it, you have to understand just how far CM Punk had been pushing this. For weeks CM Punk had been on an absolute warpath. And not the kind of warpath where a superstar runs their mouth to hype a match. No. This was personal. This was surgical. This was CM Punk doing what CM Punk does better than literally anyone alive in professional wrestling. He was getting under your skin. It started subtle. Little jabs here and there. A smirk when Roman's name came up. An offhand comment on the mic. "Oh, Roman? You mean the guy who needed his whole family to protect a title he couldn't defend alone?" The crowd ate it up. Of course they did, because half of them agreed. But Punk didn't stop there. He escalated. Every single week he escalated. He started specifically targeting Roman's legacy, his title reigns, his image. And this is where it turned. He started targeting the family. He started calling the Anoa'i family a dynasty built on nepotism. He said the only reason Roman was ever pushed to the top was because of who his father was, who his cousins were, who his uncle was. And when he said uncle, when he dragged The Rock specifically into it, you could feel the temperature in the entire WWE universe shift. People backstage reportedly went quiet. Because there are lines in professional wrestling. Even in a world of storylines and scripted promos, there are lines. And CM Punk was not just approaching those lines. He was jumping over them with a smirk on his face and a microphone in his hand. Segment 2, the promo that broke the camel's back. Now let's talk about the promo. The one that changed everything. Punk is in the ring. He's got the crowd in the palm of his hand because that's what he does. He's pacing. He's calm. Too calm. And he starts talking about Roman Reigns again. But this time he goes somewhere nobody expected. He looks directly into the hard camera, the one that broadcasts to millions of people. And he says, slowly, deliberately, "Roman, you've been hiding behind your bloodline your entire career. You've been hiding behind your cousins, your brothers, your father's name. And most of all, you've been hiding behind your uncle. The Great One. The most electrifying man in sports entertainment. Dwayne." He pauses. Let it breathe. Classic Punk. "Let me tell you something about your uncle, Roman." The Rock left. He took his ball, his Hollywood ball, and he went home. He abandoned this business when it needed him. He abandoned you when you needed him. And every single championship you've held, every standing ovation you've gotten, it doesn't mean anything. Because deep down, even you are nothing but a shadow of a man who didn't even love this business enough to stay. The arena is stunned. Some people are booing. Some are cheering. Most are just silent with their mouths open. And then Punk smiles. That Punk smile. So the next time you want to invoke the name of The Rock, the next time you want to ride his coattails, you tell your Uncle Dwayne that CM Punk said he's a sellout who chose movie checks over the people who made him. And if he's got a problem with it, he knows where to find me. He drops the mic, walks to the corner, leans on the ropes, stares directly into the camera. And in that moment, every single person watching knew it was only a matter of time. Segment 3, The Rock snaps, and it was nothing like we expected. Now here's where I need you to stop scrolling. Stop checking your phone. Because what I'm about to describe, The Rock's response was not what anyone predicted. We expected a promo. We expected The Rock to come out on SmackDown, hit the catchphrases, work the crowd, threaten Punk, maybe get physical briefly, and then we'd have a match announced. Clean, neat, formulaic. That is not what happened. The Rock appeared, but not through the entrance ramp, not with his music. No pyro, no electrifying build-up. The Rock appeared from the crowd, silent, walking through the sea of fans in street clothes. No music, no announcement, just a 6 feet 5 inches force of nature cutting through the arena like a shark through water. And you could feel the shift in the building the second people started recognizing him. The cameras scrambled to catch up. The commentary team went completely silent for a full 3 seconds, which, if you know anything about WWE production, never happens. Commentary never goes silent. The Rock climbed the barricade, slid into the ring, and stood face to face with CM Punk. Punk didn't flinch. Of course he didn't. This is CM Punk. He held his ground, mic still loosely in his hand, and actually started to raise the microphone back to his lips. He was going to say something else. He was going to push more. He never got the chance. The Rock snapped. Not a wrestling snap. Not a scripted-looking TV snap. A real, visceral, borderline terrifying snap where every ounce of composure The Rock is famous for just evaporated. He grabbed Punk by the collar before the mic even reached his mouth. The look in his eyes was something you don't manufacture. Something you can't rehearse. The brawl that followed was chaos. Pure, unscripted feeling chaos. Officials flooded the ring within seconds. Wrestlers from the back poured out. And through all of it The Rock had to be physically restrained by no fewer than 4 people, still reaching for Punk, still trying to get to him, his face a mask of genuine fury. Punk, for the first time in years, looked shaken. And here's the thing that nobody is talking about enough: when they finally separated them and The Rock was being walked back up the ramp, he stopped, turned around, and pointed directly at Punk. No words, just a point. And it was the most terrifying thing on WWE television in years. Segment 4, the fallout. The WWE universe is split down the middle. Social media exploded. And I mean that in the most literal way possible. Within 30 minutes of that segment airing, The Rock, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns were all trending simultaneously. Not just in wrestling circles globally. Sports news outlets were picking it up. Entertainment blogs were running pieces. Even people who haven't watched wrestling in a decade were asking what happened. And the conversation was divided into 2 very clear camps. Camp 1: Punk deserved every single second of it. You don't get to stand in front of millions of people and disrespect a man's family, his legacy, his uncle, a man who gave decades to this business, and expect no consequences. The Rock wasn't out of line. The Rock was defending his family's honor. And in wrestling, in the culture The Rock comes from, family is everything. Camp 2: The Rock's reaction proved Punk's point. The whole reason Punk was saying what he was saying is because he knew it was true. The Rock did leave. The Rock did choose Hollywood. The Rock did disappear for years when WWE was going through its roughest patches. If none of that was true, if it was all just empty words, then why did The Rock snap like that? You don't snap over lies. You snap when something hits too close to home. And honestly, I don't know which camp I'm in. And I've been covering wrestling for years. Segment 5, what this really means for WWE. Let's zoom out for a second. Because beyond the spectacle, beyond the incredible television, beyond the trending topics, this moment means something massive for WWE's future. This is the collision course that the company has been quietly building toward. The Rock representing the legacy of what WWE was: the Attitude Era, the Ruthless Aggression Era, the era of larger-than-life characters and electric promos and moments that defined a generation. And CM Punk representing what WWE is now: grittier, more technically focused, more reality-based, more willing to blur the lines between character and authentic personality. Old guard versus new guard. Hollywood versus the locker room. Legacy versus hunger. And Roman Reigns sits right in the middle of all of it, his family on one side, his rival on the other, and his entire legacy being used as ammunition in a war he didn't start but absolutely cannot afford to lose. This is the kind of storytelling that makes wrestling great. Not the choreographed sequences, not the predictable title changes. The moments that feel so real you have to remind yourself it's entertainment. The moments that make your heart race and your jaw drop and your fingers immediately reach for your phone to call someone and say, "Did you just see that?" Closing call to action. So here's where I leave it with you, Ring Rumble 1 family. Was The Rock right to snap? Or did he just prove that every single word out of CM Punk's mouth was the truth? Is this the beginning of the greatest rivalry WWE has built in the last decade? Or is this going to be rushed, wasted, and underwhelming the way too many dream matchups have been? And most importantly, when this comes to a head, when these two men are finally standing across from each other with nowhere left to run and nothing left to say, who walks out on top? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Share this video with every wrestling fan you know, because this conversation needs to happen. Hit that like button if you want me to break down what happens next. And subscribe to Ring Rumble 1, because I promise you, this story is nowhere near over. The Rock snapped. CM Punk smiled. And Roman Reigns is watching from the shadows. Things are about to get very, very ugly. And we will be here for every single second of it.